It's been a couple days, so I'm just going to make a long ramble for those of you who miss me. So, all three of you, you're welcome. Um, I've noticed at certain points in my life when certain words become overused and very much more prominent in my life than they were before. Around my early 30s, the word atheist became one of those words. Especially the word theist became one of those words around then because I started enjoying videos from other atheists on YouTube and became part of this community. And in 2011, it was the word occupy. Prior to that movement happening, the word occupy or occupation was not used in my life, in my vernacular, in the things that I watched, in the media that I consumed. And afterward, I got pretty sick of seeing the word occupy. I I remember being invited to Facebook groups about Occupy the Bible and how the local Occupy movement had adopted a dog and its name was now OccuDog. You know, there were so many times that the word Occupy showed up that had nothing to do with a meaningful discourse or the original movement that was intended by Occupy Wall Street. And I really felt like, okay, this has become overblown, and I wonder when life is going to go back to normal and I'm not going to hear about the word occupy, occupy, occupy. Trump has become that word in my life. In fact, I have made a video before where I said that I was all Trumped out. And I seriously cannot escape hearing about Trump. I went to my niece's birthday party. She's 12 now, and it's hardly the place to be talking about politics, but it came up and somebody used an Xbox controller to bring up sassy Trump videos where it's the same Trump speech. It's just with a gay, sassy accent, you know. And yeah, a whole conversation broke out there. And then afterward, we drove back to Denver, and I went to a Roger Waters concert. Roger Waters being the former lead singer of Pink Floyd, performing most of the songs that he wrote while he was a member of Pink Floyd. And, you know, all the hits. And I actually was not prepared for how many times Trump would pop up in this performance. There was a giant screen behind Roger Waters and his 9-piece band, and the screen had a lot of imagery, and it was adapted for the times because the message, I guess, is something that's poignant and still relevant in this time, and so it's been adapted to Donald Trump. So all those Pink Floyd songs that you have loved for your whole life have now been stamped with Donald Trump on stage, and I was just like, well, shit. I didn't figure that this day, the day that I stayed away from the internet because I didn't want to see UFC spoilers, and I just wanted to live life and get out of media consuming and just do some cool things in real life. I didn't figure that this day I would still have to deal with Trump, 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 Trump. And I don't want this era to last a very long time. I would like him to be a one-term president. That's where I'm at right now. The day after the election, I said in a video here on YouTube that I think Elizabeth Warren has the best chance of beating him in 2020. And I said starting that day, I would start supporting her. And I've also said here on YouTube that I've been watching a couple of talk radio-ish YouTubers because I like to multitask while I'm at work, and one of them is SecularTalk. And he's made 2 videos now recently saying Elizabeth Warren can't explain why she didn't support Bernie Sanders, and also Elizabeth Warren, I'm not for primarying corporate Democrats. And he's making points in these videos that are very short, where he says, I don't want to leave you with the wrong impression. You know, she's done some very great things, and he'll list her her credentials and her accolades for like a minute, and then go into a bunch of reasons that he thinks that she's not on course. And so the division continues. The Bernie bros that lost still want to take that movement that they've had and try to parlay it into some political capital. And I can't help but think that this reminds me of the Paul bots. Especially the way that when Rand Paul decided to endorse Mitt Romney, because there was like this deal that was worked out, okay? Back in 2012, Ron Paul never endorsed Mitt Romney, right? And that's when somebody concedes and the party nominates their nominee for president. It's supposed to happen, you know. It also didn't happen cleanly with Ted Cruz in 2016 when he told people to vote their conscience at first because he was still not happy about losing, and especially to Donald Trump. And he only, in the end, would do some calling for him and make some public appearances and make it look like he was endorsing Trump when Trump was unbeatable and already nominated, you know. But even right after the heat of the moment, these people would not endorse the nominee. Same thing happened with Bernie Sanders. You know, he was mathematically eliminated for a very long time, but he wanted to take his political clout and turn it into something. You know, he started a movement and he wanted to get something for it. And the parallels between Bernie Sanders and Ron Paul and what happened to their respective movements are so strikingly similar. And yeah, I gotta think that SecularTalk keeps saying that these corporate Democrats haven't learned the lesson that they should have learned. And I gotta think, shit. It's the outsiders, the Bernie bots and the Paul bots, and they're the ones who have not learned from history. You know, they're the ones that are not getting the message. Seriously, SecularTalk should be a Green Party promoter. You know, he's saying that the Democratic Party is not going in the right direction when they're not doing the things that he wants, like, say, Medicaid for all, Medicare for all, right? If 100% of the sitting people who are Democrats are not for it, and the one person that he's still calling a Democrat and says is for it is actually an independent, yeah, maybe he needs to find a party to promote that actually is about things like that, like the Green Party. The Democratic Party has a different platform. And yeah, I really feel like early on now, Elizabeth Warren is being unfairly pecked at by Secular Talk in a way that's going to hurt her election in 2020. It's going to hurt her campaign, and these are points that are going to be picked up on by Republicans. I'm not happy about it. And he keeps saying she's the second best Democrat. Who's number one? In his mind, it's the guy that's right now walking around with an I next to his name, Bernie Sanders. He's not even a Democrat. You know? What does it mean to be the second best Democrat when the first best Democrat isn't even a Democrat? It means she's the best. And the divisive spotlight that's being put on her right now, I don't know that it's a good thing for the country, for the politics that Secular Talk says that he'd like to put forth in the world, and all the policies that he would like to enact. I feel like it's a very big mistake to be so divisive right now. I also think that the narrative that Secular Talk has created about why Elizabeth Warren didn't endorse Bernie Sanders, and why she held out so long, the narrative that she was Machiavellian, I think that's very hurtful, and he can't possibly know what was in her mind at the time. He can see what she says, but he's putting forth a narrative that she has not said openly. But I'd say Elizabeth Warren not endorsing Hillary Clinton right away was her holding off and saying, hey, wait a second, let's hear this Bernie guy out. If anything, if she was going to endorse someone, it would have been the person from her own party, the person who probably had been talking to her about her endorsement for a decade before, and not the Johnny-come-lately. But Secular Talk likes to put forth this narrative that she was being Machiavellian with her endorsement, and that she eventually endorsed Hillary Clinton for political gain. I think she was actually worried about the amount of bloodshed between Bernie and Hillary on their campaign trails, and especially in the debates. And rightly so, because look what happened. Trump won. Because half the Democratic Party was like, oh, look, a squirrel! And got distracted and tried to change horses in the middle of the race. In the middle of the stream. They're like, oh my God, we could have so much better. We could have everything we ever wanted. Let's just vote for Bernie. And, when they didn't get what they wanted, when they got teased with having all those things, they didn't show up to the polls. And I think Elizabeth Warren's going to have, if she does run in 2020 and get the nomination, she's going to have a much easier time, because every Democrat is going to be reminded constantly when they hear Trump, Trump, Trump for the next 4 fucking years that they need to vote. Not just look at a poll that says, oh, look, I'm in a safe state. Oh, look, there's only 1% chance he'll get reelected. No. They're going to get reminded all the fucking time. Trump, 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 Trump. You need to fucking show up and vote. And maybe it's just human nature that the kind of people who are more liberal just need more reminders like this. You know, maybe the reason why Barack Obama won in a landslide isn't just the whole race card thing. Maybe it was a whole bunch of Democrats remembering Al Gore and going, maybe we should vote even if it looks like he's going to win. You know? And to me, that's the entire takeaway. Like, SecularTalk loves to say that the corporate Democrats aren't learning the lessons that they should learn. To me, the lesson that they should learn is this political pendulum shit where whoever's president has a whole bunch more votes come out against them from the other side, and so initially the House and Senate get turned to the other party because whoever's in president creates a backlash, you know, and it creates this fucking political pendulum that is not something that we can stop just on our side. That's what needs to stop. We need to fire up Democrats when there is a Democrat president in office just as much as when there is a Democratic Congress and a Republican president. You know, we need constant support, not just this pendulum of one side getting support, then the other side getting support, deadlocking us, and us basically taking 2 steps forward, 3 steps back all the fucking time. That's the lesson I'm taking away from all this. But yeah, I'm gonna go try to not Trump for the rest of my night because the word, it just gets used way too fucking much.